Carey, have you guys seen this video? I'm going to share it with you in just a second. Absolutely unhinged and foaming at the mouth. Just this wild, ravenous, malevolent rant against, pretty much anybody who's not Joe Biden, according to him, or anybody who's against, any Democratic nominee, even though he claims he's a libertarian. I'm going to share this video with you, and then we're going to do a little bit of a critical analysis, because if you've been watching our channel, listening to our podcast, you know that I'm a big believer in data. I'm a big believer in policy. I'm a big believer in results. I'm not really a big believer in talk. Our channel is all about kind of deconstructing these messages and these people of influence and import who are conveying a premise that has just got a lot of holes in it. And the problem is they're influencing millions of people. So let's watch this absolutely complete breakdown berserk video, and then we're going to talk about it. Check this out. What do you think about Trump? How did he do? Do you think he should run again?
No, I'm not a fan at all. The worst president we ever had. One of the worst human beings ever. He should be nowhere near Washington. He should be nowhere near any kind of power. I hope he ends up in jail. I really do. Him and his family need to end up in jail for all this nonsense to stop. He's the worst.
What do you think was the worst thing that he did, and why would he be in jail?
Name something. It was the January 6th insurrection. That whole day I was so mad watching that whole thing. Everybody involved in that should be in jail. Everybody that gave a speech, everybody that broke into the Capitol, whether they were doing anything or not, even just wandering around, jail. That's a bunch of bullshit, And the big lie about the election being stolen, all the graft, all the, one lie after the next, the way he handled COVID and let all these people die. He's a maniac. I got no good thing to say about Donald Trump.
He actually shut down the country. What do you hope happens?
For the record.
All right, thank you. This has been a great conversation. My last question for you is, what do you hope happens? Before you know it, 2024 will be here. What do you think? Are you going to support a libertarian candidate again, or what do you think?
I'm going to support whoever can knock down Trump and Trumpism. I think the whole idea is a danger to the country. The idea that, you can support somebody who believes who just lies outright, and you're going to support him because you're afraid of getting primaried or something like that. Trumpism has to die. And I don't care if somebody's libertarian or not. If you can beat those people and push them back and get them the F out of the power, I'm going to support whoever does that. If it's a Democrat, fine. Just get out. Because there's no place for that kind of stuff anymore. I'm not putting up with it.
First of all, I completely agree about January 6th. I was just as angry as anybody. As much as I love my country, as much as I love due process, as much as I love the Constitution, the peaceful transfer of power, etc., completely agree with that. I disagree on pretty much everything else he says. I don't think it was Trump's fault. I think blaming somebody for a speech that somebody gave in a free country and saying that, well, he made me do it, it borders on really a kind of psychological mental breakdown, because you cannot blame somebody. These are grown adults. I was going to say, these are grown men and women. They have sovereignty over their own choices. To blame somebody else, to blame their egregious actions on somebody else is, to me, a shortcut to thinking. And it really completely defeats the idea that we have free will, we have control over our actions. So I completely disagree with that. But the real crux of this, the really important aspect of this video, if you've been paying attention, and again, the rhetorical principles, audience, purpose, message, breaking down the language choices, what they actually mean, the actual implication of the words. He didn't mention, first of all, the policy that he was so critical of Donald Trump during the pandemic. Donald Trump shut down the country almost immediately once his advisors, Fauci being one of the main ones, told him this is something we need to really seriously contend with. This is a serious problem. He shut down the country immediately. He shut down airlines from entering the country from abroad and from outside the U.S. Almost immediately, he followed the guidelines. He shut down, during his watch as president, he shut down the country. He shut down businesses. So he did everything that his medical advisors, I'm using quotations now because so much has come out about Fauci and all of the misinformation and the misguidance and the mishandling, which was really not Trump. Look, he says a lot of BS things. He says a lot of idiotic things. But to say that he handled the pandemic terribly, you're not ascribing the blame to the right people. He was following his medical expert advisors to the White House administration, which is Fauci and the other Dr. Brisby, I forget her name, but other doctors of that nature. And so he trusted his guidance of his experts. The second thing I want to say, so he's wrong about that. He doesn't mention any policy. They should all be in jail. Even the ones who wandered around. Wow. He's just awful. Pick something. He can't pick anything. He can't actually list a policy that was not working and that you can compare to what is happening right now in the country. You cannot, he actually cannot identify a policy. Why? Because the country was prosperous during Trump's reign. The country was doing fantastic economically, fantastic. The labor market was amazing, fantastic on foreign policy and foreign diplomacy, fantastic in so many regards. Small businesses like myself, other businesses, mid, small, large, were doing amazing. Families could afford gas. Families could afford their mortgage payments, their rent. Interest rates were at an all-time low. There were no wars. So he's not, again, I like what, I'm going to play for you a clip by Jamie Dimon, the CEO of Chase Bank, just because I think this is so important to understand. These Hollywood types, these celebrities, Mark Ruffalo, Mark Ruffalo is the biggest space cadet of all of them. De Niro, Howard Stern, Drew Carey, Whoopi Goldberg. Ugh. If there's anybody who makes me want to vomit more than Mark Ruffalo, it's probably Whoopi Goldberg. These people don't have any substance to their arguments. They are happy with a guy who literally cannot get through a speech without displaying a severe mental deficiency. They are happy with a border crisis that is something we've never seen in our country before. They're happy with the perception that America has in the global economy, in the global political spectrum, where people are laughing at President Biden, this administration. He's happy with Kamala Harris, who is an absolute abomination in every definition of the term. He's happy with the interest rates. He's happy with seeing our country right now deteriorate from within. That's what these people are purporting. That's what these people are advocating for, and it's reaching millions of people. They should all be in jail. There's nothing of substance. Let me play for you this clip from Jamie Dimon. Just pay attention to this. This kind of complements what I'm trying to say here. Remove the person, focus on the policy. Listen to this.
How do you see the U.S. economy playing itself out over the next 12 months? This is an election year. We've been talking a lot about what just took place in Iowa and trying to understand how the American public is going to feel about the economy may ultimately dictate how the president is decided.
Yes, I agree with that. I think it's a mistake to assume that everything's hunky-dory. And, and when stock markets are up, it's kind of like this little drug we all feel. Like, it's just great, But remember, we've had so much fiscal and monetary stimulation, so I'm a little more on the cautious side, that we are facing a lot of things in 24 or 25. And we mentioned Ukraine, the terrorist activity in Israel, the Red Sea, quantitative tightening, which I still question if we understand exactly how that works. I don't think we do. How QE actually worked. what the effect of zero rates was for all this time, and obviously the politics, and then the Ukrainian war is affecting oil, gas, food, migration. So you have all these very powerful forces that are going to be affecting us in 24 and 25. So if I was the government, I would be preparing for what I'm going to do about that, assuming things aren't good. And I just also want to point out, I wish the Democrats would think a little more carefully when they talk about MAGA, and if you travel this country, and the country's unbelievable. We took our bus trip this year, and Leslie Picker was on Spokane and Boise and Bozeman. People are growing. They're hungry to grow. They're innovating. It's everywhere. It's not just Silicon Valley. So we've got this great hand. But when people say MAGA, they're actually looking at people voting for Trump, and they think they're voting, and they're basically scapegoating them, that you are like him. But I don't think they're voting for Trump because of his family values. And if you look, just take a step back, be honest. He was kind of right about NATO, kind of right about immigration. Mm-hmm. He grew the economy quite well.
China virus.
Tax reform worked. Mm-hmm. He was right about some of China. I don't like what he did.
No, I said China virus.
Yeah, I understand. He may have been right. And I don't like how he said things about Mexico. I don't like, but he wasn't wrong about some of these critical issues, and that's why they're voting for him. And I think people should be a little more respectful of our fellow citizens. And when you guys have people up here, you should always ask the why. Not like it's a binary thing. You're supporting Trump, you're not supporting Trump. Why are you supporting Trump?
It's hard to hate 75 million of your fellow Americans. And
I agree.
It's done crazy.
And the Democrats have done a pretty good job with the deplorables, hugging onto their Bibles and their beer and their guns. I mean, really? Could we just stop that stuff and actually grow up and treat other people with respect and listen to them a little bit?
So if you remember that I just posted a video yesterday on Chuck Schumer and how Senator Schumer, who was on one of the network cable stations, talking about the bill, the Ukraine and border bill that the Senate just agreed upon with Mitch McConnell, that's probably going to arrive dead on arrival to the House. The House is probably not going to pass it. If you haven't seen that video, I'll leave it in the end screen. But isn't it the job of the politician to bring people together? And like what Jamie Dimon said, and this other guy said, how do you alienate 75 million Americans? Why? You're supposed to. And what did Chuck Schumer say? Chuck Schumer said, we need to drown out the noise of Trump and his minions. Excuse me, sir, but half the country, half the United States of America actually believe in the policies that allowed them to prosper prior to this current administration coming into power. So I agree with Jamie Dimon. Stop disrespecting these people. You're alienating them. You're dismissing them. You're sticking your nose up at them. Treat it like you know so much more than them. Your elitist stances against them are wholly unbecoming, but just downright rude and disrespectful. So but that's the point of what Jamie Dimon said. And you hear all these people, and it's just like, yeah, he said this. Of course, he said awful things. Trump said awful things. I'm not arguing that. There's a lot of things he said that I completely I've said this many, many times. I think a really hard-nosed PR guy who's not afraid to say no to him needs to take his phone away from him, needs to, even though I kind of like some of his tweets, needs to tell him to just shut up. Just stop talking about, no more ad hominem. Just stick to policy. Just stick to what got you here, that you're fighting for America. And if you're going to attack somebody, attack these career politicians, these power-hungry, corrupt, hypocritical politicians that are doing everything to keep their claws engraved in this in their power. So that's who you should be going after. So it's really, really interesting to see this, and the real critical analysis here that I want to just share with you is there's nothing of substance. These people who are attacking the policies that worked, they're going after the person. And I agree, the person maybe is not the most ideal person that we want. But between somebody who's practically in a coma and who is enacting laws, legislation, and policies that are absolutely detrimental to our country versus policies that have worked, will work again, but the person maybe is iffy, I'm taking that. I'm choosing that. Pragmatism, practicality. Give me another choice. Give me another choice. I'm open-minded to other choices, but these are our choices. And so I pass this off to you. What do you guys think of what I just said? What do you guys think of Drew Carey going on this relentless rant? What do you guys think of Jamie Dimon? What do you guys think of the fact that you're seeing this, kind of consortium of influencers, celebrities, pundits who are attacking policies of the past that actually worked, basing it on this real personal, avenue of attacks that have no substance. There's zero substance. And by going after the personal attacks, what they're really, the egregious thing here is they're overlooking the current policies that are fractured, broken, irresponsible, irrational, and not working. They're just not working, pure and simple. The data doesn't lie. If you watch my previous videos, you will see I go really in depth on the data of the border, the data of higher education, the data that DEI doesn't work, the data of the economic policies, the data of the deficit that we're in, the data of all these decisions and policies and the ramifications of both. So I'd love to hear from you. Let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know in the comments. I respond to all the comments personally. If you made it this far, don't forget, in our pinned comment and in the description is our free newsletter. It's imperative. It's free. Just sign up and you'll never miss another video, breaking news, update. We're going to be going hard and strong all year. This is the most consequential year in the history of our country. So make sure you sign up for that. It's absolutely free. Check out these videos that I was just talking about. These are super, super powerful. Click on these right now. Make sure you subscribe down there. God bless the United States of America. God bless you, and I'll see you soon.